as well as
I'm making a file. Yeah. Okay. Go
sure,
ahead.
sure. As well as some of the cry mode and also the larynx dampening. So I've experimented with that a little bit.
Okay. Great. We're going to touch on cry today. We have to. It's number one, important. But before we do that, what I'd like to see you do, by the way, in our next lesson, when we come together in a month from now, do have something ready to go if you can, if it doesn't get you arrested or whatever. Okay. Yeah, Jim.
Oh yeah, the only reason I just to remind you, and so Eric knows too, I don't use a microphone only because my neighbors will murder me. But
Right.
other than that, I'd be using one.
Yeah, it's a big global problem.
Yeah.
But if that isn't your problem, then yeah, plug in, go for it. Okay.
Okay.
Eric, do you remember the warm-up, the semi-occluded phonations, the warm-ups on the nasals where we did we did M's, N's, and NGs over a simple major scale? Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's called track and track, if that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, and the three different nasals and going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2 times.
Great. This is awesome. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that. Can you put on the content on your end and train from your end? And we'll just what I'll do is I'll just watch you. We'll use my ears and I'll listen, and I'm going to coach you through getting configured and getting a great result, basically.
Okay, sure. Should I just play the on the keyboard and sing along?
Yeah, no, you could do that if you're really good at piano. If it doesn't distract your capacity to sort of focus on the phonation package and the training,
Sure.
it's okay. We can try that. I kind of prefer playing the recorded content as well, so that you do have so you aren't having to double down. But is it set up? Could you hit play and go?
No, that's not. I'm not sure immediately where that is. I know where the lecture is, but I'm not sure where that audio is. I just played it to accompany myself. I just saw what you were doing, and I just played that.
Okay. But you do have the course opened up, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rebel in the back of the bus.
Yeah. I was trying. Yeah. Since we were talking this week, Eric and I was trying to help him find the audio recording that you're talking about, but he's got the Udemy course, and I have so the numbers are different, and I can't really direct him. We're not looking at the same thing, so I didn't know where to tell him to look.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you don't have the full course. You have the little startup thing out at Udemy.
I'm not sure. I think it's 26 hours, and it was through Udemy.
Yeah. And yet it's big, but and yet it's not the full course, which is okay. It's all right. There's content in there that has some of the training, has the training skills in there. Have you trained with the video demonstrations? Have you trained with the pre-recorded content on either me on video or audio or anything from that system? It's been a while since I poked my nose in the system out there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. And I do have that opened right now. The one of you singing that, those three different ones, the track and track with the three nasals going up. I've got that should be open in another tab right now.
Okay, that's good. And but you don't have the solo piano without Robert.
I wasn't able to find that. No.
Yeah, that's kind of some of the stuff you get with the full course over at my website. I'm going to send you a link at the end of our lesson. I prefer that you have the full course. Hang on here. I'll just remind myself. I'll send you like a discounted link. Okay. Like super duper deal.
Okay. Thank you.
I want to get you into the real product in a sense. Okay.
Sure.
That's sort of like a lead magnet thing that's going on out there. Okay.
Gotcha.
Send Eric discount for and okay, great. We'll do that. Okay, fine. Let's go ahead and fire up the video of what you do have available, and I guess you'll just do it. No, let's not. accompany yourself. Do it on the piano.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Okay, sure.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, I'm sorry. Is the volume okay with the piano? I can turn it up or down.
I will find out once you start playing. In that brief moment, it seemed fine. Jim is kind of my front of
Okay.
house.
It sounds okay so far.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. You just let me know.
Okay, great time. If I do this, which time to stop. Audio is just perfect. It should be just fine. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead. Continue.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know where the fireworks come from. I didn't turn it on. Like I'm in business meetings, right? You know, sometimes during the week, and these fireworks go off. It's just a stupid thing. I don't know. I clicked a button. Now I can't get out of it. So you might see like pink balloons and things will fly up. And anyways, Eric, it's good. It's good. Yeah. Those are the three nasals. You got your M, you got your N, and you got your NG. As in sing a song, right? On the M, it seemed that it was a little bit like you were sort of hunkering down on it a little bit. Just
Okay.
relax. I don't want you to do that. Just okay. All right.
Okay,
Continue. Continue.
Okay.
Better. Much better. Eric, put a wind and release. You're familiar, we do these onsets. We have these onsets. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Put a wind and release onset on these. So they become hum, hun, and hung, as opposed to going straight into the consonant. It'll just make it a little bit softer on the land and gets respiration moving, and it's just a really good habit for everybody, especially beginners. Okay, and you were doing that. Just want to remind you to keep doing that.
Okay, great. Okay.
Great. I like the T.
Okay, cool.
Don't worry, I got you. I got you. Keep going.
Okay, cool.
All right. Now, as you get closer to the passaggio, you feel the constriction coming. Yeah, you feel, don't you? Do you? It seems like you do. Your body language.
For a moment. Yeah, we're getting pretty close to it.
Keep going. Yeah, keep going. We're getting there.
Okay.
All right. You, me, Jim, Bruce Dickinson, Barbara Streisand, all of us of humanity. Okay. As we get closer to the passaggio, it gets a little choky, it gets a little pushy. Okay. Public enemy number one, getting through the passaggio and stopping that. It's what everybody needs and wants, right? Okay. So this is an opportunity. I want you to kind of feel what we don't want, and you did a little bit there. I could have let you go. You would have just sort of continued to push, and it would have been sort of something you were familiar with, unfortunately. Okay. What we need to do is if you continue as you were with the configuration in your larynx. But configuration is a broad term. Sort of means what the vocal folds are doing, what sort of the innards are doing in around the vocal fold, mostly vocal folds, but dampening and all that. It's all sort of configurations. Okay. In that particular configuration, the vocal folds are, these are my vocal folds. The vocal folds are sort of sitting in a thick, bulkier position. You manage these are vocal folds, left vocal fold, right vocal fold, and they do have the ability to sort of elongate and stretch and stuff, right? Okay, if I elongate my vocal folds, it's gonna help me facilitate higher frequencies. If I bring it back in, it's not the only thing that's going on, but it's going to help me facilitate lower frequencies and other things. Okay, and this is an important point to make as well. The human voice can phonate and do a lot of radically different things. It's quite versatile, actually, provided that you can command and control these things. The thing that's the most familiar with us and is built into our motor skills more than anything is a vocal mode called what, Eric?
Cry mode?
Nope.
Speaking? Speaking mode?
Yeah, right, speaking. Of course, it's going to be speaking, which is a wonderful, miraculous thing. We need it, but it sucks for singing. The physical configuration for speaking sucks for singing, especially the higher you go. So if you're singing repertoire that goes high, then it's really gonna not work for you. Okay, the lower you go, I'm a really low Johnny Cash kind of singer. It's still not speech mode down there, but it's closer to it. It's similar, and that's why singing Johnny Cash is a lot easier than singing Queensryche. Okay, all right. When we train, you may have noticed, we tend to go train in this direction, don't we? Sometimes we do this, it's important, but we're kind of fixated mostly in this direction, certainly as a beginner, because that's what the passaggio is, head voice, all the cool stuff we want to get to. All right, that's the backstory. So when your vocal folds are not elongated, when they're sitting in this sort of this rested, really, you could almost say sort of speech mode position, they're fatter, they're bulkier, okay? And if you take this vocal fold configuration, bulky or fatter, and you use it for speech on lower frequencies, guess what? It works great. It's what you need for that. But if you take this particular bulky, fatter vocal fold configuration above where speech lives, and you start taking it up to middle C, D, E4, for most men around E4, start bridging into the head voice, F4, F sharp, and you still have this configuration, what happens? What happens is the body literally says, I'm sorry, this configuration that you're using isn't designed to go up there. It's not designed to go up there. That's not what the thing evolved to do. So since you're the boss and you're telling me to do that, I'll keep trying, I'll keep pushing, but in order for me to get this configuration to make any kind of sound, above E flat 4 or whatever, I'm gonna have to constrict and push. Sorry, boss, but that's what I'm gonna have to do. And that's sort of what's happening for a lot of singers, okay? But we can fix it. What we need to do is we need to be sort of conscientious of vocal modes. And I'm talking about vocal modes. If you read the book, you took the course, remember what we're talking about, vocal modes or physical configurations. There's like 8 of them. Okay. All right. We talked about speech. That's one of them. We need to change the vocal mode. You got to get out of this thick, bulky speech position. Okay. And so what are we going to do? What we're going to do is we're going to put the vocal folds into cry mode, cry vocal mode, which is thankfully somewhat familiar because we've all done it before in life, but less intuitive as speech, obviously, okay? So cry mode, among other things, is characterized by a thinned out vocal fold position. So when we cry, and actually when we laugh as well, it's very similar. Laughing and crying have very similar configurations. When we laugh and cry, the vocal folds elongate. Okay. So we're going to have to get you to knowingly, conscientiously engage in elongated vocal fold positions, which we're going to call, which is cry mode, for singing.
Mhm.
You've done it before. It was the second thing you did in life. After you slapped your ass, the first thing you did is you took a big breath, and then the next thing you said is, holy shit, this sucks, and you started crying, okay? All right. And, somebody probably broke your heart one day, and that happened too. So we've all cried. So we know it, we're familiar with it, but here's the challenge. The context of, we're not even thinking about when we do it in sadness. When we're sad, when we're emotionally sad, it goes into the position that naturally, we don't even think about it, okay? So the challenge becomes putting it into this position in a whole different context where I'm not sad, I'm actually just trying to play an instrument, okay, and sing better. All right. So what we need to do is you need to get a feel for putting your vocal folds into cry mode without being emotionally sad, in which case it would just happen naturally, okay? So you just literally like turn it on and turn it off, okay, for singing. Before we do that, I just want to make 3 points regarding cry mode, all right? Cry mode, when we thin out the vocal folds in cry mode for singing, it removes pretty much most, if not all, of the pharyngeal constriction. The choky, pushiness stuff goes away. That alone, sign me up, okay? It goes away. 2, when you engage in a elongated vocal fold position, demonstrated by this pen, you'll notice that as I elongate, the compression on this pin increases. You see that? And if I go back to a bulky speech-like position, the compression on the pin decreases, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Tighter inside, now it's not. Okay? So engaging in a thinned out position, sometimes we call it the thinned out position. Engaging in a thinned out position will increase vocal fold adduction. Closure.
The pen is representing the column of air.
Yeah, Jim.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna leave. It's not gonna fall out so much right now. But if I'm relaxing between verses, or I'm coming back to speech mode because I'm gonna talk to the crowd or whatever, it's gonna drop. All right. My point is, it creates better vocal fold closure, adduction, compression. The ability to keep the vocal folds compressed at not on the edges, but on the full girth of the vocal folds is a big part of singing great. Learning how to do that, building the strength to do that. It's a big part of what makes you sound great. Okay, getting more surface area and more compression. That's great. And last is when we hear sound colors coming from really any species, but in particular primates, okay, that are in cry mode because of tens and thousands of primate evolution. When we hear sounds that come out of this configuration, it subconsciously says amplified emotion. Amplified emotion. And the emotion doesn't have to be sad. It could be, if I'm elongated, the kind of emotion that it's communicating is going to be dictated by the context and the lyrics in the song, okay? Wouldn't have to be sad, okay? Could be Ronnie Jane's Dio, and it's mystery or fantasy or something like that, okay? So we have that going for us when we get in this configuration. And it also tends to make the sound color silkier, just generally prettier and less sort of, bulky and grindy. It makes it sort of move and because the vocal folds are oscillating in a more efficient position and other things. Okay, there's now the scientist guys that can get into this and probably and definitely elaborate more on what I'm talking about, but this is just sort of the practical lowdown. Okay, are you getting it?
Yeah, great.
Okay,
Great.
now, yeah, Rebel in the back of the class.
Is there also like a protective quality as you move through the passaggio up?
Yes.
Okay.
That was point number one. It removes pharyngeal constriction.
Oh, okay. I got it.
Which means the body is saying, this is okay. We can do this. The body is pushing back in a bulky position as you go higher to trying to protect you from hurting yourself. It's trying to say, no, stop. But if we're in a thinned out position, it's going to say, that's okay. We can do this. All right. So that's the backstory of that. It's super important. It is like 40% of everything of singing great. 40% the physical position of your larynx, primarily cry mode. 40% the vowels and the acoustics, which is another discussion where we're putting vowels and how we're resonating. All right, and about 20% is all the other stuff. An embouchure, get your eyes off your shoelaces, things like that, okay? All right, so we need to cry because I want to get a breakthrough for you. And the best way to do that with a new student is to get them to whimper like a puppy. All right, so what I want you to do is I'm gonna accompany. I'm gonna give you a note here. Okay. Just go to middle C.
Want me to play or just listen?
I'm gonna demonstrate. Then you're gonna do what I do. Okay. And then I'm gonna ask you to do it. So your little demonstration you did was okay. Okay. I'm gonna give you a B-. Okay. Let's get that to an A+. All right. We got to fix the configuration here. All right. So. Product A. Come on here. I suck at piano. That's why we do sirens. Okay, watch. I'll go from the F to C, purposely in a sort of a thicker position. What we don't want to do. Kind of what you were doing. And now if I ever continue on that, it's just gonna kind of do what you were dabbling with, which is starting to, you kind of see how it's sort of getting it kind of looks like it's gonna push, right? All right. Now, same movement, but this time I'm going to whimper like a puppy into it. I'm not warmed up. Hang on. It's not a great demonstration. Go to the content in the course and you'll get one. Not warmed up real well, but you can hear the difference. Product A, bulky position, kind of on the speech spectrum. Cry mode. I can just race right up to it. Was that a G? Up to the F, and it didn't choke me. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna play for you because I want you to have full capacity. So we're just gonna do a melodic siren from F to C, and we're just gonna get you sort of aware of consciously, purposely getting into cry mode while you do the buzzing stuff. Okay. Go ahead and try it. Give me a smirky smirk. And then do this. Yep. Yes. So we're going to whimper. We're going to whimper. Yes. Yes. It's been a while. It's been a while. But that's it. Now, careful not to sort of cough it up. It's not. It's not a sort of coming up from the bottom up, from the top down. All onsets should come in from the top down. All onsets, great singing, always comes in from the top down. All right. Let's tune up and get a note. All right, so we're gonna go to C. That's fine. That's good. That's got a little bit of whimpery cry in it. It does. Let's go to the C, middle C, and just actually work with a row note. Okay, that helps. Yes. That's it. Now the next thing is what happens when students begin to knowingly get into this. That's great, but then oftentimes the very next little challenge is that once they get into cry mode, initially at the front end near the onset, as the little vocalese, the little onset, or the scale continues, or the verse continues, what happens is as time moves forward, they initially, like off the blocks, they initially get into the position, but as time moves forward in the vocalization, it begins to unknowingly relax and go back to a thick position. So so that's why sometimes I think the first 5 seconds of the verse, it felt great, and then by the time I got into the next 5 seconds, why is it all of a sudden choking me? Not because you're getting fatigued, but because what could be different things, but there's a good chance it could be because the vocal folds unknowingly you just let it kind of sit back and relax and get fat again. Okay, so let's do this again. And what I want you to do is you're going to go into your onset with cry mode. You're going to thin out, and you're going to hold that position. You're going to hold the whimper position on the C. Watch me, Jim. How's my audio? Is it coming through? Okay.
It sounds good so far.
Okay, good. And just hold on to it. And the longer you hold on to it, the more you kind of get to know it. Okay, good. Okay, your turn. Here we go. That is the idea. You're a good student, and it doesn't surprise me. Musicians, they kind of pick up on this stuff, pretty snappy. All right, so that's pretty good. Rule number 3 about being conscious of cry vocal mode configurations when singing is the harder you do it, the better the result, usually. Okay, so when you're in it, you can be in it. It sits on a spectrum. This is a spectrum. It sits on a spectrum, so you can be sort of in it and kind of in and out of it. You can kind of be doing it half-assed. You can be kind of doing it, but not enough. That happens a lot. Okay, so when you're consciously, I'm singing and I want to sound great and I don't want to choke and I know all about cry mode and I've been training. So when you commit to it, commit to it.
Okay.
Okay, and what you just gave us right there was sort of a half and half. Not unusual, everybody does that. So we're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna come in from the top down, thin out the vocal folds, whimper like a puppy. You're gonna hold it and sustain it so you can begin to train yourself and tell yourself, we're gonna hold this weird position knowingly. Okay? And you're gonna cry into it as hard as you can. Watch me. It's a little low. Rule number 4 with cry mode: the higher the frequency, the easier it is to engage as well. Okay, so I'm kind of low. I'm in a low C, so it's a little. My body's like, well, it's kind of hard to elongate on lower frequencies. Okay, so let's go up a little higher so that cry mode can kind of get where it wants to be. Let's go to the E. That's a good one. Okay, E. Okay, watch me. Same exercise, just get a little higher so that cry will respond better. Yeah, I should have had you on an E earlier. Much easier there. Okay, ready? Your turn. Really lean into it. Embarrass yourself. Here we go. Yes. Yes. But that wasn't okay. That was great. Now, get all of that without the extrinsic output. Okay, that's another thing we got to learn to do when we're singing. Is there's a lot of work and elongating and things happening on the inside intrinsically. That's very athletic and it's a lot of work. But oftentimes that creeps out into the extrinsic side, and we end up getting tension creep in the face and all that. And you were kind of doing a little bit of that. So watch me. I'm leaning like hell into this thing on the inside, but on the outside, I'm static. Okay, watch. By the way, the last time I did that, I think I was a little sharp. So let's try this again. There's a lot going on the inside, but on the outside, I'm relaxing. Do it again, please. Great. I want you to look at the monitor. Keep your eyes on the monitor so you can see what you're doing. Primarily so that you're really looking at the embouchures while we're doing that. Okay. Okay. And you're doing great, by the way. You're doing great. All right, so we're gonna do this again. That was more isolated. This time, get your eyes on yourself so you can see what you're doing. I want a little bit more smirky smirk. Okay. Rule number 5. Don't let respiration escape or blow through the folds when you're in. And that can happen. You can be in cry mode and still blow wind through it because you're not torquing it enough. Okay, so make sure that if you're in cry mode, you're getting that compression that it's offering you.
Okay.
All right, that's not windy. That's got real connectivity to it. Again, ready? And. It's a little windy. Okay. It's a good effort. I'm giving you an A for effort. The result is a B. Okay. But you're doing it all right. It was a little windy, but that's not because you got a problem or I don't really see you doing it wrong. It's just development. All right. So if you play with this in the shower, in the car, sitting in traffic, in training, in a controlled environment, and you just focus on this 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it'll be awesome. Okay. It's freaky. It's weird. It deals with tiny little movements. But if you geek out on it for 4 weeks, just geek out on it, when you release that and you start singing after doing all of that, you'll be going, oh shit, now I get it. Now I'm like, wow, I just sang, Wheel in the Sky by Journey, and I never sang that before in my life. Why? Because you built this, you're getting thin, and you're getting the layer, the folds in the right position. Okay, now we keep going on this. You're doing great, Eric. And by the way, I do recognize that we didn't really get to we didn't fit. It's okay. You got to get into cry mode. Let's do this. That's right. Let's go back to the warm up. Okay. Now that you know how to do cry, and do it again. All right. Okay. The higher the frequency, the harder you cry. All right. Go.
Okay. So it was the track and track. Or
we'll just stay on the button for now, and maybe not start too low, just so that we can kind of get to the workspace. All right, so maybe start there's some G to D. Okay. G to D. Octave higher. Yes. Whimper like a puppy. That's great. Now just stop. That's different.
Yep.
It's different. You can it sounds a little bit different, which is very subtle. But physically it's different. You can feel that, right? That was correct. Keep doing that, and you'll be singing like Rick Emmett. I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. Okay? Next. Keep going. Do that again. The higher you go, the harder you cry. So I like to say, I'm going to give you a visual. Cry into the high note. It's another way of saying the higher I go, the more I thin out.
Okay.
The mantra is cry in to the high note. Okay?
And that means more pressure or more relaxation?
Maintain the relaxation. We wouldn't want to not relax ever. And I don't like the word pressure. More thinning.
Okay.
More elongation. More whimper.
Okay.
Yes, and Eric, just for now, while you're getting your cry game on, let's just stick with the M, just for now.
Okay.
You could do the others, and there wouldn't be anything wrong with that. That would be fine. It's just, I just want you to keep your capacity around the cry at the moment. Okay, so just stay on the M for the moment.
Okay, great.
Great, that was good. The second one was better. Don't lift up, pull back. Okay, it's like one of the techniques that we use to kind of get freedom. Don't lift up, pull back, and bleed. Don't bleed the vocal folds to get there. Don't do that when you're training cry mode. Okay? If you're choking like hell, and we did this lift up, pull back technique that we have, you may recall in the program, which is great for a different situation. Okay? But when we're training cry mode, the game is you stay compressed.
Okay.
And the way you're going to remain compressed is you're going to cry harder as you get higher. That was pretty good. Do it again. Let's go up one note, please.
Okay.
Pretty good. I still need more smirky smirk. Okay, next note. Not bad. You're tempted to lift up, pull back. You're tempted to believe the vocal folds to get around, but we don't want to have to do that, right? If we can not have to do lift up, pull back ever, and get straight to full compression all the way through, which is what cry mode can offer us, then we want to do it again. I want you to slow down. Okay, really slow down. Same scale.
Okay.
Okay, look at the monitor so you can see yourself and you can see my cues. I'm coaching you with sign language as you're doing this. Do it again, please. It's bleeding at the top. Keep it together. You'll keep it together by crying harder into it. Right. That's very good. Let's go to the G sharp. That's it. That's it. Your head, it's the right headspace.
Okay.
That was clearly cry harder as I go higher.
Yeah.
I heard your thought on that. Yes, good. Rule number 6. What happens when you first start getting this? One thing that happens is people, okay, I'm getting it. I'm knowingly getting into this weird thing called cry mode. I mean, it does seem to be removing it. You know, I'm getting all these benefits. And you're giving it hell, like right now, like you're really leaning into it, which is what you want to do. Students will subconsciously assume that when they get up sort of like around the E or in the F and stuff, that's the most that they can do. That's the furthest that they can elongate. Because it's new, it's already an accomplishment. So they sort of think, oh gosh, I'm doing it, it's great, I'm getting some results, and that's, you know, and I'm working hard at it. And so I'm sort of assuming that's it. That's my threshold. The truth is, So the mind will make you think that that's all the further you can go. But if you just push a little harder, you'll see that you can actually get more out of it. Okay. Mm-hmm. The higher you go, the harder you cry. The higher you go, the more you thin out. It is a dynamic spectrum. If you're already thinned out and it's working great, and this, let's just say if this is the position for an F sharp 4 and it works great, if you hold this position all the way up to the C5, it's gonna what, Eric? If you don't adjust the elongation for the frequency, what's gonna happen? Even though down here, the F sharp, it was great, perfect. If we get up to the C5 and you haven't engaged more elongation, what's gonna happen?
You're gonna tighten up.
That's right. That's right, that's the lesson.
Okay.
You want to get more freedom on a certain note in a song, then there's a lot of things you could do. You may play with the vowels, and there's many things you can do. But the first thing that I'll do is I'll thin out more. You got to thin out more. And if you're still not getting it, maybe it's the vowel and the embouchure and other things. But number one is get the vocal folds in the right position for the frequency.
Okay.
To the A. All day long. Go. sustain. That is good vocal health right there. That is good vocal health. Just in the shower, in the car, just hold it.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the next thing we would do is, what's the next logical thing? So let's assume that's great, and it is. You did a great job on that. I think you're ready. So if we're going to take this, what are we going to do? We got to take this somewhere. It's got to do this. Hopefully, it's going somewhere. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to open our mouth and release the product.
Okay.
Release the vowel with that configuration. Number 7, rule number 7. When students are in cry mode, it's freaking perfect. And then they open the embouchure and release the vowel. They let go of the configuration. When they release the vowel, they let go of the configuration, and now it's a shit sandwich and it falls apart. Okay? Just like what I was saying earlier, you got to get in the habit of, as you're singing, as you're articulating vowels and consonants in your lyrics, in your text, you have to also train yourself to hold the position as you're taking it through the chaos of consonants and vowels, which gets a little bit more difficult. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so you might want to do something like this. After you've got that warmed up, then you're basically going to go to track and release.
Okay.
So you go to track and release. So I'm going to track and release this position to the G4. Okay. I mean, that needs a little bit of work because I'm not warmed up, but you get the point. Like that's not falsetto. And it's not sort of like, it's not like reinforced falsetto either. It's not kind of, that's not what that is. That's got meat behind it.
Yep.
Okay? You can say, yeah! That is chesty, high. It's got meat behind it. Cry mode helps you get there, all right? So I want you to do that too. We're on overtime, but it's okay. We're having fun. So we're going to go to the G. I want you to roll up to the G. And let that sucker go, okay? And I'm going to warn you, you're going to have to work hard. You're going to have to work hard. It's a belt. It's very physical, okay? All right, go.
Just from 1 to the siren it up, or all?
Buzz up to it.
Okay.
Hold it for a few seconds and then release.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the idea. That's the idea. Now, when you release that vowel, oftentimes things kind of get shaky and it gets unstable, all right? So we need to stabilize the mechani, all right? When you release that vowel, I want you to take the tip of your tongue, and I want you to leverage it. You can leverage it 2 positions. It's in the chorus. You can leverage it behind the back of the bottom teeth like this. That works. But for me, you can get even more leverage if you take the tip of the tongue and you dig it in underneath the roots of the bottom teeth. So you got this, and if you want to get more aggressive, you go here.
Okay. Okay.
A, B. Do you feel that? You feel you get below, there's like a little bump, which is the bottom of your bottom teeth.
Okay.
Press your tip of your tongue right there.
Okay.
When you're belting in the head voice, I don't know why. I need one of my science friends to tell me why. I don't know, but for some reason it creates the right leverage for belting. All right, and it'll stabilize all that squirreliness. Go ahead and try that, please. Ah, my batteries are dead. Go ahead. Not bad. But don't do this.
Uh-huh.
Sit up straight. Feel the string. Okay. Sit up straight. Feel the imaginary string. Okay. Release that. There's a lot going on the inside, but on the outside, I'm just sort of, you know, it's sound music. You know, I can dance, I can rock through that, okay?
Right.
You're almost there. You're almost there. And you can go straight in if you want to. There you go. Watch your shoulders. Bring your embouchure down to more of a horizontal position. It's a little too wide. See, that's the stupid stuff. I don't get it. But go here, horizontal position. Okay. And just hold that sucker. You go. Slow down. Slow down. That fell apart because you're going too fast. Higher you go, the harder you're going to cry.
Okay.
Right. I'm really pushing you hard here. You're at a G, okay? So that's probably not fair. That's not fair. That last movement wasn't fair.
Yeah, Eric, just so you know, I've been working on that G for like 3 years.
Oh,
And I'm not, and you're doing it on your first lesson, like
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah. Let's go into the G. We don't need to be going higher. By the way, it crapped out not because you're not doing it right or because you just need to build a strength. Okay, you're not. I'm throwing fastballs at you here. It's not really super fair. It's going from the G and then descend. Am I so? Try that.
okay.
There you go. Right through the passaggio, no problems. Went straight through. The tone was matched. It was chesty on top. It was a nice glissando, descending glissando. In large part because your vocal folds were in a thinned out position. Okay, which enabled that agility. And you had a nice embouchure and a few other things. But it's mostly about cry first.
Mm-hmm.
Don't even get into the workouts and the warm-ups and stuff and do it. If you're not whimpering, then forget it.
Okay.
Because if you're not in the thinned position when you're training the workouts, you're going to work against yourself. You're actually going to fatigue your voice because, like I said, you're pushing literally the wrong physical configuration for what you're trying to do. You've got to cry and thin. And if you do that, as far as singing is concerned, the world will open up to you. It did for me. All right. So, I mean, I can count on one hand things that radically changed my voice, my ability to sing killer. Okay. More than anything. Attack and release onsets, working with glottal attacks, narrowing vowels, the higher I go, all things I had to learn the hard and slow way, removing the fear of belting, allowing myself to physically work a little bit, allowing myself to pull chest, giving myself permission to pull chest. okay, above passaggio, which I avoided for many years. That was a mistake. Focusing on onsets and workflows, and then and last but not least, the most important thing, which was the last big thing that I got my head around and I put in my training program before I left Seattle and moved to Idaho. It's like the last big hurrah, cry mode. And it happened to be the most important. Right? I always wanted to sing Lights by Journey. I'm a baritone. I'm kind of a high baritone. So I could always do it okay. It was all right. But, you know, for my reputation and that sort of thing, it wasn't good enough. And I had students come in and do it really great, you know, made me feel shitty. And I remember I started going on with cry mode. I started getting it on. And the other things I was mentioning. And it was like 1 o'clock in the morning in my big, pretty studio back in Seattle that you can see in like YouTube videos and stuff. I was experimenting with these techniques, and I sang Lights. It sounded freaking awesome, and it was easy. And then I sang Take Hold the Flame by Queensryche, and it was awesome. And I didn't struggle through it. And I literally fell to my knees in tears. 15, 20 years of wanting to sing like that with ease. It was just simply because I was thinning out the vocal folds finally enough to do it. That's my little story to inspire you a little bit. It's absolutely true though.
Right. That's great, man.
Okay. And what I'm trying to say is it works, man. It works. And fortunately for you, you don't have to sort of like live in mystery and like I'm just telling you, I'm giving you the shortcut. Just go straight there. Don't go through the journey that I went through. Okay. Yeah. Nice job, Eric. You're going to do fine. You're going to do really great with this. Okay.
Great.
Your homework would be to dive into the content. But I think you're, at least the early stuff, you're somewhat familiar with. Everything that you do, you're going to whimper like a puppy if you're doing nasals, or you're going to cry into those vowels. Okay.
Okay.
Anchor the tongue when you're in the head voice and trying to get really aggressive. It'll help a lot. In our next lesson, a month from now, if you can, try to have some sound, try to have a mic and have some sound available. That'll make it a lot more fun. Cool. Okay. Do you have any questions?
No, this is fantastic. I can't think of any questions. I'll start then with the track and release. You did something that I haven't drilled where you go from like from the C to the G. I don't know if that's called a siren, or I'll just work through the program though.
Yeah, it was the siren instead of the skip.
Yeah, the sirens, right, yeah. So sirens, we know we're talking about sirens, okay? Yeah, so sirens are a big part of the program. It's a big part of the methodology is sirens, okay? Okay. So when you get past the warm-ups, okay, you're done warming up, you get past the warm-ups, and the very next thing that comes in the program is introducing onsets. Not all of them, but we start with like the first onset, a track and release onset, okay? Not the track and release the workout, but track and release the onset. They're different, okay? So because you have to have an onset if you're going to do this, you start doing sirens, you first got to have an onset, right? So I teach you to get into an onset. You do that. That's quick and easy. And then immediately after that, it's sirens, baby. It is melodic fifth and octave sirens until you're so sick of it you can't stand it anymore. But it is the best way to train bridging. Okay. Cool. And because you're sort of riding on an ever dynamic moving spectrum. When you're doing a siren, when you're doing scales, you can kind of like rest, 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 rest. You can kind of hop and rest in a way, but when you're in a siren, you can't cheat a siren. But if you're on a scale, you can go okay, and never get this. Sirens don't allow you to cheat. You can't cheat. You have to go through the infinite, the infinite spectrum of every single position, and it forces the phonation package, the vocal fold elongation, everything that's sort of moving according to frequency movement. It forces everything to kind of move dynamically. All right.
Okay.
So that you get nice. God, what am I trying to say? Nice, consistent, smooth phonation package adjustments and the movements per the frequency. Yeah. Fluidity. I was only going to do like 20 minutes, but I start doing this and I end up having fun.
Great, man. Thank you very much. Amazing session.
You're welcome. You're going to do fine. Jim's right. You picked up on it pretty quickly. So not everybody does. That's a gift.
I'm depressed now. I am officially depressed.
Happens. So Eric, in some sense, you've been given a gift, and the gift is that your mechanism is responding well to this quickly. So on behalf of all the folks that struggle more with it, take advantage of it.
Okay, cool.
Go for it.
Cool, man.
All right. Okay, I'm keeping you guys. You guys probably want to go out and where do you live, Eric? New York?
In a Manhattan.
Wow.
Yeah.
New Yorkers. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. You guys probably trying to get outside and like go to dinner with your girl and stuff, right? So yeah.
Not tonight. No,
In my dreams.
I'll find something to do. Yeah. I'll probably go grocery shopping. That'll be the big event.
Yeah, the supply and demand's good in New York, but I don't know. Maybe not anymore.
Sure.
Okay, all right, guys. Good night. Send me emails if you like. I'm going to send you some friends and family discounts on the courses, Eric. I think you should at least get the 4 Pillars of Singing. Either one would be fine. If you only have budget for one, it'll be like a really super good deal.
Okay.
All right, you guys. If you have anything else, just send me an email. Okay.
Yeah. All right. I'm just going to keep working on what I've been working on, and.
Oh yeah, Jim was here. Sorry, sorry, Jim. Yeah, but yeah. Okay, yeah.
All right, because we already went for a while. I just been working on keeping the larynx low as I go up into the F#4 and the G4, and I've been getting very frustrated because it seems like I'm getting better, and then I come back the next day and it's not as good. But I mean, it's a lot better than it was when I started. But anyway, but we could go into more detail later.
Yep. Jim, just keep chopping. Okay.
Yeah. But actually, watching Eric, all the refreshers of, taking Eric through it is good for me. So.
Yeah, I thought so. You seem to like the lectures, Jim. I know.
I'm just trying
to lean in, and so
I'm faking it. I'm actually bored out of my mind, but I'm trying to take in everything I can and just stay inspired. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Jim.
Yeah. No, it's cool. I think I'm progressing, but we'll check it out next month.
Yeah, we'll give you some time, and Eric, I hope you'll join us. All right, and if you do, I want to see progress.
Okay.
What kind of coach would I be if I didn't ask for that, right? I want to see, we'll do some stuff, and I want to see some smooth movements and some track and release. That sounds beautiful.
Cool.
All right, cool. Great.
Right.
Good night, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.